watching another episode of Young JOC and the Streetz Morning Takeover on Streetz TV.
It's your favorite cousin checking in, Young JOC. What up, Miss Shyneka?
What up? Good morning.
Shawty. Hey, man, listen, man. You know, we try to be as extraordinary as we possibly can. Miss Shyneka always tell me I'm extra, and I always be telling her she extra, and y'all know Shawty extra. And so that's why this morning we're going to be extraordinary.
Okay.
And this morning we have an extraordinary guest, a family member, a fan to the show, a fan of the show. I ain't gonna say a fan of the show. I didn't mean to say fan of the show.
We are fans of his.
We are fans of his.
Yes, sir.
And he is a family member to the show.
Don't worry about it. He's still learning how to do his
Like
job.
friends
I'm
to
still
the
learning
show,
right
Who
fam
is
to
in
the
the
show.
building?
Friends
All
to the
the
show,
above.
fam to the
All
show.
of the
That's what I was
above.
trying
All
to
of
say.
the
Thank you,
above,
Shawty.
for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, Mr. Ceelo Green.
Yes. What's up, family?
Yes. Good morning.
Good day, one and all. How y'all
Ceelo, what's
feeling?
up, man?
I can't complain, K. What you talk about?
Hey, man, we talking about you right now in the building this morning,
I
man.
was just watching his press run, and I was like, I hope he gonna come to the show to see us this morning.
I'm gonna come check in with everybody, especially in the city.
We definitely appreciate
Yes.
you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
CeeLo, I want to just tell you this, man. We live this morning. I am 46 years old this year. And you know what, man? I was having a conversation about 2 days ago. I don't know, this older white gentleman was asking me some questions.
Okay.
And one of the questions he asked me, he said, are you familiar with the people who made a difference in your life? And I was like, yeah. He was like, who is it? And of course, I didn't feel like it was a trick question, but I was like, why you ask? He said, can you name someone who stood out in your life that helped better your life? And we just started naming people. And he asked me, what do I do for a living? I said, I do music. He said, is anyone in music that has helped you change? And I went to naming names. Your name happened to be the second name I named. It's crazy. First I said Dre, then I said you. And so we got to talking about it. And I just want to give you your flowers because I know this is unbeknownst to you that this conversation was being had. But, man, some of the stuff that I heard you speak on, rap about, preach about, just talk about 30 years ago, 20 years ago, bro, that still helped me be the man I am today, helped save me in a lot of situations. You know what I'm saying? You know how they say sometimes you hear that inner voice?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you think it's God. Sometimes it's the people who God send your way to that you hear. And it's a lot of times
Agreed.
when I have sat there trying to figure out how I'm going to feed my family, I always heard, you need to get up, get out, and get something.
That's right.
Don't spend all your time trying to get high.
Not
Like,
all of it.
bro, I got to give your flowers, man, because
Yeah.
here we are. I really feel like you should definitely be considered an ambassador of Atlanta when it comes to not just the music, but culturally. I just want to give your flowers this morning. Before we even talk about anything you doing or done did, I just wanted to let you know that, bro. That's how you touched me in my life, and I just want to put that out there.
I'm humbled, bro, and I appreciate you greatly for those kind words, man. Thank you. Thank
Nah,
you so
for real.
much.
I just wanted to do that.
And I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's the mystique. It's the mystique of Ceelo Green because you individualize yourself. You know, a long way from the regular people from Atlanta, from regular rappers from Atlanta. And then going back to the first verse, when people heard you, you know, you spoke for every young man in Atlanta that was in that era when you say, because a lot of the guys in the inner city was like, I don't recall ever graduating.
Yeah.
It came so loud
For sure.
through the speakers, and everybody just resonated with it. You know, we grew up in church together, but when you start manifesting through your rap lyrics and through, I was like, whoa, Carlos is really deep, and he's really, really deep with it. I don't even think I saw that part.
My real name is Carlos, y'all.
I'm sorry.
Just so y'all know, FYI. No.
Yeah, but I was like, see, he's deep with it. And where did you channel that? You know, where did you channel your deepness from and your mystique?
When I was on the way here, I was thinking about you, and I knew that I would see you, and I knew that we would probably touch on it. But just to answer the question plainly, man, like, you know, Fellowship of Faith, Pastor Wayne C. Thompson, may he rest in peace. And let me be a bit more specific. Fellowship of Faith International.
Yes.
Because it was a non-denominational church, meaning it was all inclusive. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes religion can be like gang banging. You know what I'm saying? Claiming sets. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but everybody was welcome. And it was just, you know, maybe something innate, but then something, you know, acquired as well. So it's an acquired knowledge, you know what I mean? And, so many, some my inspirations, Pastor Wayne being one of them, the city of Atlanta being, the birthplace of where you become a product of the environment. I got a chance to meet and greet with so many people that inspire me, legends, Cameo, Larry Blackman is like, you know what I mean? We both Gemini, so we share the same birth month, and I always talk to him throughout, over the years, and so many people have acknowledged me, man, and I don't know where it came from initially. That's probably going to be the quickest, most convenient answer I can even give you about where it comes from. But other than that, it's something otherworldly. It's something innate. You know what I mean? And I'm just really kind of like acting instinctively and trying to align with it and be as obedient as possible. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like, it's got it's spirited. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say that it's gospel or even a religious context, but it's spirited. You know what I mean? And I do know the power of speak, you know what I mean, and the power of word and the influence and the platforms that we all have to be an influence, to be a counterbalance, you know what I mean, and to do some good and to be the change that we want to see in the world. And I remember saying to myself earlier in my career, it was really a prayer of where I was like, well, Creator, if you spare my life with this opportunity, I would denounce, you know what I'm saying, every dumb thing, dumb decision, every ounce of ignorance I ever celebrated or perpetuated, because we once were the opposites of who we were, right? He will tell you. We probably won't get into them stories. That's if you want to. Like, me and Shawty was something else when we was young. Yeah, for sure. And I even thought then that the ability to cause so much mischief, you know what I mean? Like, I thought that was a talent.
It was like a power.
I knew it was power.
I think, what? I'm so glad you said that. So to parents who got kids and you wondering why they be doing what they, Ceelo just gave you the answer, and I've never said it out loud, but I think he just put it in words for me, because I always used to, because people like, how did you change? Why was you so bad? I really wasn't. I was mischievous, right?
Right.
But I did stuff because I knew that I could change the mood in the room.
For sure.
I knew I could get the attention. The other kids was not only could they not get that attention, they were scared to get that attention.
And a couple of the teachers even said that to me then, and that was just sowed seeds of where they were like, it ain't about what you're doing, it's about what you can influence others to do. You know what I mean? Like, I really kind of like your leadership qualities and that, effect that you have on people. You're charismatic, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, man. Like, if you harness that into a power, you know what I mean? Like, you could really be something. And you've got the mark of a minister. And, you know what I mean? Like, you can, you know what I mean? Like, So I heard all of that stuff when I was young, but it didn't really kind of start to bear fruit until later on. But it's just an implementation of practice.
Understood.
So to take it back to what Shawty said, in one of your first raps, you don't recall graduating at all. You did something really big last year where you were presented with a diploma.
Yes, ma'am.
From your high. How did all of that come about? Okay.
So the family, my sister and my wife, Shawty, she just outdoes herself every year trying to go over the top, to surprise me. I'm not even really one to celebrate birthdays and such, you know what I mean? But I guess you're supposed to on your 50, because that's halftime, you know what I mean? Like, so it is a monument, and I guess any of those ages you'll never be that but the once, you know what I mean? Like, so, but I feel like every day you can wake up and do what you love for a living, man, like it's your birthday, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, she was just saying, even to me the other day, because her brother had called and asked me how do we acquire it, and I was like, man, I say, you answered me this question at the right time, because I'm in the car with the Queen Madam. They're the ones that facilitated it, and they actually went to the Board of Education, and what I'm saying, like the Mayor of Atlanta, the Honorable Mayor Dickens, what I'm saying, like who I went to high school with as well. We went to Benjamin D. Mays High School together. So he was more inclined, you know what I mean, like to push it through or make to see it happen and make it happen. So they did it, and the whole surprise, the whole birthday celebration was a surprise. I knew that she was putting something together, but for me to be standing there, then turn around and now, ladies and gentlemen, y'all put your hands together for the time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Oh yeah,
That
I knew you
time.
were going.
I was like,
Like,
oh
my
man.
gosh.
So you talking about somebody that loved Morris Day and Jerome and you know what I mean? Like love them. They did all that. The only person that wasn't there was Jerome. And so I got a special caveat about that. Prince was also a mentor of mine too, bless his soul and life. And he took me up under his wing too. People may not know this. He offered the invitation, to open up for him at the Madison Square Garden. So I performed with him, and on a couple of different occasions, I performed with him in Vegas. And anyway, he just took a liking to me, but I had always loved him too for as long as I can remember. But yeah, so the diploma, that was really special. It was really a void in my life, and I had always wanted to, express and growth and what I'm saying, like accountability, responsibility. I wanted to incorporate all of those things into the art form that those messagings may become perpetual. You know what I mean? You feel me? I figure sometimes there'll be a multitude of people who hear this interview today and they'll get some jewels. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if we could put that same messaging in the music, like in the cake, can always go back to it for those who may not be available, may be totally distracted or still asleep. You know what I'm saying? You just never know.
Now, speaking of going all the way back to it, Miss Shyneka referenced one of your, a few lines out of one of your verses. When I think of Ceelo Green, I can hear why you probably, love those people that you named, some of the influences that you looked up to, right? But all those people sing.
Yes.
When it comes to rap, what's a classic verse that always stuck out to Ceelo Green from another artist that Ceelo Green, when he would come up, that was his go-to verse?
I'm going to tell you, because I look at this every so often, I just pull it up and check it out. Beat Street.
Beat Street.
Now, I just did like a 10-question interview with some UK publication, and they were like, this song, like, would you like this, or what was your favorite memory? Questions like that. So anyway, it's the last verse. Do you, first of all, are y'all familiar with the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Beat Street, you rocking the beat.
Yeah, from across the street. Yeah. Okay. So that's Melly Mel from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. So he always rhymed to me like a orator. You know what I mean? Like he had a very authoritative, commanding, you know what I'm saying, like compelling voice. He spoke like a minister, like a prophet. And in my opinion, he was. So it's his verse at the end of the movie after the one of the main characters, Ramon, dies. Ramon was the graffiti artist, and even one of his murals said, "If art is a crime, may God forgive me." So I want y'all to go and check that out so these references can make sense to y'all. Right. But he wrote the most pathetic, verse I had ever heard up until that point. So that was one of the key elemental influence things that really shaped and molded my ambition. I'm saying, like, or as a writer, because I'm like, damn, I just identified with the fact that I'm saying, man, it's deeper than rap. You know what I'm saying? Like what he's saying. So a newspaper burns in the sand and the headlines read, man that destroys man. Extra, extra, read all the bad news on the war for peace that everybody would lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just, this was like 84 or something like that. He's like, learn from the past and work for the future and don't be a slave to no computer. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause the children of man inherit the land and the future of the world is in your hands. Just throw your hands up, So I'm rapping it, man. Like, I wish I could just rap the whole rap, but anyway, it was a sermon for me.
Good.
And
good to know.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I was just one of them kids to where I didn't really have a father present. So it's almost like maybe I sought it out, maybe unknowingly, unconsciously, but I sought out these surrogate fathers and these voices of MCs and soul singers and stuff like that.
And
so
that's where the pastor probably
that's
where it comes from.
Yeah.
Looking for it.
You know what's so crazy? We was talking about this earlier. How something can influence one thing, and that thing turns around as the catalyst that influences you. So to hear that Melly Mel verse that you just recited, right? And then that verse compelled you to become the CeeLo that makes me want to hear this verse, right? So I want to play this verse. Because that verse is so compelling to you that it made you put out something like this that's so compelling to the rest of the world.
Will you do me one favor?
Amazing.
If y'all can work it in, can you play that verse for the people so they can hear it?
Man, what you think we finna do?
Okay. Grandmaster C.
Grandmaster C, boy.
You remember that?
Yes.
God damn.
Shirt. Grandmaster C, we used to be beatboxing all the time. That's how we learned. That's how I learned
Jamal.
to beatbox. We used to be the beatboxers.
I just remembered that not too long ago. And I don't know what it is, but black and red always, because the sweatshirt was black and red, black sweatshirt with red lettering. Grandmaster C. So you know I ain't bullshit, huh?
I know, man.
That's crazy.
When I saw that picture, I just thought about all the talent we had and how, everything I was growing up.
So it's amazing. Something that touched you, right?
Yes.
Melly Mel. This is your go-to verse that helped make you be the person you are today, right?
Facts.
Resonates within you, then something in you give the world something. And this is what one of them things that I rock with, you know what I'm saying? To the point, like, someday when I'm at the house, just like cleaning up, like if I'm just riding, I just need some different inspiration to cut through the clutter, the chatter, the everyday, the hustle and bustle. This right here, this is for real therapy.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying?
You need to get up, get out, and get something.
Say what?
Don't let the days of your life pass by. You need to get up, get out, and get something. Don't spend all your time trying to get high. You need to get up, get out, and get something.
This song right here helped raise me, boy. I stopped selling dope.
In 94.
Sing it word for word, Jack.
Let's do it. I don't recall ever graduating at all. Sometimes I feel I'm just a disappointment to y'all. Every day I just lay around, then I can't be found. Always asking, give me some, living life like a bum. Times is rough. My auntie got enough problems of her own. I agree. I try to be the man I'm supposed to be, but negativity is all you seem to ever see. I admit I've done some dumb shit, and I'm probably gonna do some more. You shouldn't hold that against me though. Why not? My music's all that I got, but sometimes it's being invested for this to be manifested.
Come on.
I know you know, but I'm gonna say this to you. I get high, but I don't get too high. But what's the limit supposed to be? That must be why you can't get yourself about the bed before 3. You need to get up, get out, cut the bullshit out. Ain't you sick and tired of having to do it out? Damn, what up with all these questions? You act as though you know something I don't. Do you have any suggestions? Cause every job I get is cruel and demeaning. Sick of taking trash out and toilet bowl cleaning. But I'm also sick and tired of struggling. I never ever thought I'd have to resort to drug smuggling. Nah, that ain't what I'm about. CeeLo will just continue traveling this route without any doubt or fear. I know the Lord ain't brought me this far so he can drop me out here. Then I make myself clear.
Hey,
Man, you so matter of fact.
man, like
Wow.
like listen.
And you know, scripture says, out of the mouths of babes. You know, I was 17 years old.
Did you freestyle that? Is this the verse you freestyled? This is not the one you freestyled, is it?
No, Goodie Bag is.
Yeah. Okay. So today, you're here today. We're in front of this mic today. You've done so many things to get to the point where you're still stepping up to mics today. Let's talk about why we are in the presence of Ceelo Green this morning.
Well, you know, we're doing some promotion. You know, I got another album out.
Come on, that's
You know what I'm saying?
working.
Wow.
18 years in the making. You know what I mean? The new Nas Barkley album, the last and final installment of the trilogy, you know, and we entitled it Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like, you know, affectionately titled Atlanta.
Okay.
You know, it's product of the environment. A lot of people don't really know that not only myself, but Danger Mouse was also born in Atlanta too. He's an East Sider, you know.
Right.
You know, with the Redan and all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it was only right. But then also, it kind of like, you know, played into the campaign that we, or the aesthetic that we had chosen for titling all the albums. The original Saint Elsewhere was everything was named after TV shows. So St. Elsewhere was an old TV show. Of course, the second album was The Odd Couple, and that was a TV show. And so Atlanta is like a double entendre because it's like it's a TV show and it's where we're from.
Right.
I love it.
So all the bases covered.
It's like naming your business after you, your real name.
Exactly.
So people can write, even though it sounds like it's a personal check, it's a business check.
For sure.
I love that.
All right, so what can we expect from this
Yes.
new project, Gnarls Barkley 2026?
Well, it's out now, y'all. You know, I would really like for people to go and, you know, really listen to it because I think, you know, art is subjected to interpretation. You know, I try not to ruin it, you know, defining it, you know, or being so definitive about what inspired it or what it was about for me. I don't want to ruin it for someone else in the way that they may perceive it to be. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, the way that they perceive it. So, you know, but just tone wise, you know what I mean? Like, I think it was really solemn. And, you know, over the last 18 years, we you know, haven't released anything. And it took about 9 years to do this album, being that we just kind of had other things that were pending, whether it was priorities and projects that was going on.
Am I lost? Wait, hold on. 18 years? What? No,
It's crazy that much time has gone by.
I guess you're right because you dropped no like 08.
Yeah.
08, right? After, I just came out in 06. Then I was like, dang, Ceelo came out with a whole new move, the reinvention. Dang.
You know, Barkley was crazy. The crazy, your song "Crazy" is so. It just does so much for me, especially the acapella version. I just turn it up as loud as I can. It just takes me somewhere.
Because you crazy.
And crazy knows crazy.
And crazy knows crazy.
And look, I seen the interview with you. I forgot who you was talking to. I don't know why you thought I would be offended, man, because it was part of the testimony. But yeah, because you was talking about me being in the behavior disorder.
Yeah. See, he definitely was one.
They asked me. I was like, no, it was BD class. We was bad as hell.
But
man.
I was too, though.
We was bad as hell because you know people try to put BD with
LD.
short bus, with learning disorder. And then they, you know, so
But that's what the public school system does. Like, they group the kids together. So,
Well, they sure had me
as
grouped
kids, you
with 'em.
don't know how to differentiate.
For sure. I think just looking back in retrospect, I think now that we become ourselves, I think we were all just artists without the actual outlet.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The construct.
Yes.
And I think all schools should probably be like a school of the arts. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like maybe you should test kids individually and see what their interests are. You know what I mean? Like, and build their academia. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, based on that. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Like, they can't fail as long as they're themselves.
We just had
You can
Right.
always fail trying to be something that you're not.
Right. And then, you know, your first line of defense are your parents. So,
Right.
you know, clearly it's their job. But to have two lines of defense, like, you should be able to rear the kids in the way that they should go.
Agreed. And speaking on that, I was just about to reference my mom and what she said to me. I'm going to tell you a little bit a story about it. She said, well, what had happened was I was ashamed of it. I knew that I was troublesome, but I was, you know, I was acting out. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe involuntarily, maybe angry. You know what I'm saying? It could have been abandonment issues, father. I don't really know what it was, you know, but I could not. Oh, and I probably just didn't fit into structure. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like I think out the box, and I mean, like, God forbid I got to be in the box. You know what I'm saying? Like 12 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? But with that, you know, it came with a lot of behavioral disorder, literally. You know what I mean? And so I guess when the people were trying to get at her about, maybe we didn't put him in special classes. She's like, no, my son is, you know, like, he's special, but he ain't that kind of special, kind of type or whatever. So it was in her defense, but I continuously got into trouble. And she said, well, she was kind of left with no choice, kind of forced her hand. And she was like, well, you know, like, if you want to act crazy, then put you in there with the crazy kids. And that's no insult to anybody that's got a real clinical disorder, you know, or condition. You know, if I'd have carried on as such, you know, say it would have become a condition because I would have accepted myself. But me being in the midst, you know what I'm saying, I said, no, you know, I'll never forget, it was this little boy named Tonio. And at this time, I was going to Sylvan Middle School. You know what I'm saying? For all you Atlanteans out there, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was in the behavior disorder classes. We were in trailers. We were in a trailer, BD here, LD here. You know what I'm saying? And this kid, Tony, and he lived in Harris Homes. You know what I mean? When I bus used to take him over there. I had to ride the short bus and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So
He mooned their ass.
Man, I'm so surprised you remember all that shit. So look, whenever he would get upset, I don't care what it was a bad grade or whatever, he would just start to scratch himself. Till it just, whelped up and bled. You know what I mean? And I said, no, I ain't crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You feel me? But I needed to have that up close and personal account.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you be like, no, I didn't see my reflection in a lot of, exactly. So I started to cut school, and I knew I was shamed. I mean, I was like, y'all going to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would slip off and, have some tokens and get on the bus. And that's what the lead single off the new album is called Motion Pictures. It's talking about me being on the train as a kid. You know what I mean?
That's a real Atlanta story. The train and the bus ride is a real Atlanta story.
Straight up.
Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure y'all go cop that new Gnarls Barkley title, Atlanta, right now. Out. It's out, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Out. Make sure you go cop that. And when you hop your ass on that train and you riding down, you know what I'm saying, Martin, you looking at the center of the city, just remember, man, it's one of the greatest to ever do it, man. Ceelo Green, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, you know what I mean? Like, but Jock, even before we complete, man, I just wanted to make sure I pass a compliment I got for you.
Okay.
I appreciate articulation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you just happen to be a very well-spoken young man as yourself. You know what I mean?
appreciate that.
I've seen you handle yourself quite remarkably. You know what I'm saying? Like on a couple of different platforms. And it's, especially when they were trying to throw curveballs and this, that, and the third. So, man, salute to you, man. Salute to you. Miss Shyneka, you a legend in the city. Come on, baby.
Yeah.
This really my brother, y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Atlanta, y'all need to know this. Me and Shawty is brothers. All right? I kill for him. Okay, what's up?
Okay. So, Ceelo, you celebrated your 50th birthday last year. And of course, with turning certain milestone ages, there comes, a new trajectory.
Yes.
So I have heard that Goody Mob will not be touring or making music.
Yes.
And you are saying that this album with Gnarls Barkley is going to be the complete of its trilogy.
Yes.
Okay. I want to know what has reset your trajectory in the past couple of years that brought you to these decisions.
Well, it's really something logistical. It's not personal. It's quite professional. My decision on it, because put it like this, there's two things that happen. If you put out a project, you invest yourself emotionally, artistically, you know what I mean? Like, you want to see it through. So if something doesn't reach a point of satisfactory, you're either going to have to work hard to push it there to get to that point. And then on the flip of that, if something is overwhelmingly successful, then you got to work 3 times as hard to supply the demand. Yeah. So each project has to run its cycle. You know what I mean? We're in Atlanta, we're home, so we're going to talk about the other things that I'm affiliated with and that I extend from. So, of course, Dungeon Family, Goody, all of those things with the utmost respect and reverence. So I never disrespect, you know what I mean, like our family, you know what I mean, and the legacy that and the monuments that we built here, you know what I mean? But, just for going forward, it's just a focus, you know what I mean? And I won't even be as definitive as I was on the last couple of occasions where I was just like, no, not doing it. So like, because truthfully, I don't know. So like, whatever God may move me to do, you know what I mean? Like, it's just that, and then put it like this. Everybody's having this opportunity to succeed, in their own endeavors and enterprising.
Right.
And the people are doing fine. So like, everybody don't wear success or money or they don't wear it the same. I mean, like, it could be somebody that's cool, drive a pickup truck, like old Gippy. You know what I'm saying? Like, like he a real country boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody know what he doing. Like, but he's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, but anyway, so as long as when we come back together, everybody is available because they may be riding high on the success that they're having at the time, and they might not be available to do Goody Mob. So I don't determine it. It's the 4 of us. Okay. Us being in unison, you know what I'm saying, like, is the determining factor.
And that is. We definitely appreciate you
so
for
much.
that breakdown.
More Young Jock in the Streetz Morning Takeover coming up next on Streetz TV.